Ladies and gentlemen,
Totally pre-recorded from Bonner Springs, Kansas.
welcome to Season 1, Episode 7 of Kansas City Nights, the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm Brian Rice.
I'm Shannon Geaver.
And tonight, our very special guest, he is the lead singer, or not lead singer. He sings. He shouts one particular line.
Oh.
That's become a bingo calling card.
Has it?
Bass player and backing vocals for Suburbans.
Keep going. The crowd is still with you.
And the publisher of Design KC magazine
We're
and
going to talk about that.
Kansas City Home and Garden. I don't want to say the wrong
real estate book. And
the Kansas City real estate book.
There's a lot.
I should know this.
We should have written this down.
Keith Sauro.
Keith Sauro.
that might honestly have been the worst introduction I've ever experienced in my entire life.
This guy sitting next to me. Well, I forgot Antonio's last name when I introduced him.
Rojas. You must say it correctly.
Rojas. Yeah. Welcome.
It's all repeating because the exact same. I ate a Goodson sandwich in front of
I
Antonio.
watched you.
And then I ate one in front of you. And I just remember the entire time with the interview with Antonio, thinking, God, I'm making such a bad impression as an American, like a diplomat, because he's from like totally bad manners, rude, eating food. I didn't bring any.
Well,
I just got a finger too close and almost lost it
okay.
while he was eating, Shannon.
Oh.
Good gosh. Yeah.
Hey, look, we're drinking whiskey. Why don't you tell us?
Cheers.
Tell us what you brought over tonight, by the way, Keith Sauro.
You mean the whiskey that I like that Brian turned his nose up to? Oh, let me share.
Where's this? This is.
Yeah.
You could hold it up to the
I
camera.
think it's made in Lenexa, Kansas,
Oh,
but
Jesus, I've never heard that.
it's quite good actually. Union Horse Distilling Company. I thought I was bringing you a treat. Apparently, do you like it?
I'm just I'm just hitting all the wrong notes with these suburban guys when it comes to
It is what it
comes
is.
to these interviews.
Don't be so
love
hard
you.
on yourself, man. It's all good. I am drinking whiskey, and this is probably the only one
I
I'm
always
gonna have.
appreciate whiskey, so yeah.
Yeah, he
But
does.
you still haven't answered the question.
It's okay. It's not my favorite.
I love it.
It's not my
I think
favorite.
it's great. I think it's great. When it hits my lips, I'm
That's it.
That's what she said.
overstimulated. All of a sudden.
That's what
It's
you
too
do.
early. It's going way south,
this
way
is-
fast. Yeah,
Okay.
And our subscribers have just dropped from 7 to 3.
that's it. 2.5.
Okay, 2.5.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Well, thanks for making time. I know
yeah.
you're a busy guy.
Oh, please. So's everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, really excited to finally have you here. But it's like, is this the G-rated, the PG-rated, the PJ-13, or the R? Probably not.
It depends on how it all
How much more
works
whiskey
out.
you have.
Yeah,
R.
it's actually Shannon's problem, not mine.
It's a big problem.
Well,
Really?
where do we want to get started at? I mean, because you're kind of like. I realized when we did Deanne's interview just how recently I met her and how short a time, and you're even more recent than Deanne, because I think I met Deanne around 2017, but I met you in 2019.
I think so. Yeah.
And so to think that it's barely been 5 years, but it feels like it's been
Has it really only been 5?
2019.
Wow.
It was, I think, you played the show. It was a St. Patrick's Day Llewellyn show.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
the one I came out and
That was
took
fun.
photos of. Yeah.
Yep.
And so
The Llewellyn's that was in.
That was Lee Summit, I think.
Lee Summit.
Oh, okay.
Yep. In
Yeah.
Lee Summit is a minute.
Okay.
And so
Which we're actually going back there for the first time in years. Yeah.
probably since that day.
No.
Are you-
We were the very last show before the world shut down for COVID.
Yes.
Probably the reason the world did shut down for COVID.
Could be.
So when is that? So it's coming up like in the summer or spring? Or,
Yeah, we're in the summer. Yeah,
So you'll
I
be
think
out
it's
on the patio.
May. I think it's early before summer. I think it's May. Yeah, we're going to do a patio show.
Oh, yeah. I love those patio shows.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're good people. But yeah, seriously, 5 years. That's
It was March of 2019. So yeah, we're a month from 5 years.
and you still talk to me.
You keep hiring me and paying me, so that's worth something.
Oh.
That's
That-
all.
Hey.
You
that
see where you
carries-
stand?
Keith, you don't have
That
to pay
carries
me
some
for
value.
anything, bro. You have my friendship
Thanks, man.
free of charge.
That's what I was hoping. That's what I was hoping for. Yeah.
And then Shannon, you're even more reason. You're just barely a year
exactly.
or two.
The first time I met you, I was with Brian Rice and John Burns at Twin Peaks in Olathe, Kansas.
That's where you met me?
Oh yeah,
And
remember you were at a different table. You were at a different table. I think that might have been one of the Twin Peaks Valentine's Day kind of nights or something, where the girls are dressed up in lingerie, because that's usually the time that guys. This is when we're going.
Right. And you just walked up the table. It's like you were, kissing hands and shaking babies all over the place. And I was like, man, this dude's pretty freaking cool.
We have a group that has been going out for wings on our birthdays for the last 15 years. Used to be Hooters, and then we jumped over to Twin Peaks. And that's the one time I met you. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I remember seeing you outside, and you didn't have your regalia. You didn't have your cap on. And I'm like, is that him? I can't tell because you're on the phone with somebody. Yeah. And then I'm like, I'm just going to go inside. And then and then you finally came over and said hi. I'm like, I thought that was, I think I even said, I thought that was you outside. Yeah. A good memory. I had forgotten that you were there too.
Sometimes it comes back to me in flashes. My memory.
The clouds clear up.
Right.
You need some ginkgo biloba.
Hey, look, I don't know what kind of holistic thing you got.
Whatever.
But yeah, so I mean, and that was, I don't remember if that was pre-pandemic or post-pandemic.
It was pre.
That would have been right at the very.
It could have been, I don't know. Shortly after you met him. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing.
Yeah. And so.
There you go.
Where we want to go next here? The origins. We want to go deep into your origin, because typically when we do these interviews, usually kind of involve sort of a chronological order from your beginnings all the way through where you're at now. Mm-hmm. And so, you're born.
What, is this a 17-hour podcast?
Yeah, we'll do the Cliff Notes. We'll do something of the Cliff Notes version. But we're talking like you're born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah, East Boston is where I grew up. Wow. My all roots, as far as I know, I never did the official test. Go back to basically from what I hear from my family, Sicily and and Calabrese. So spent a lot of time there.
You've been you were in Italy last year.
Went last year. We've been twice, and it's unbelievable. I mean, I highly recommend it. Mm-hmm. This last trip, we did Florence, we did Tuscany, we did Cinque Terre, which was amazing, which is, the 5 villages on the ocean. It was unbelievable, yeah. And you know what? They treat Italian Americans really, really well.
Really?
Yeah. Now, obviously, it's not like I don't look Italian. And let me put the hat on backwards to make myself look more Italian.
Now that's Italian.
But the nose, right, gives it away straight away anyway.
Oh,
but
okay.
So the locals would come up to me and start speaking in Italian, and I'd answer back in my best broken Italian that I could, and they'd say, "Oh, Italiano Americano," and I'd say, "Si."
Hey.
Yeah.
Is your wife Tiffany also Italian?
She is the first person to marry into my family that is not 100% Italian.
Really?
Yeah. So she broke the mold. That's why the kids are cute.
But that means that she's part Italian then.
0.
Oh, you said not 100%. I inferred that meant she was
100%. I should have said a double negative. 100% 0 Italian.
Hey, every now and then she gets a little Italian in her.
Oh, there it is. That was too easy. Just too easy.
Wide open there.
Yeah. Yeah.
We could edit that out.
I don't care. Do whatever. She might say yes. I don't know.
Hey.
Anyway, but yeah, no. So yeah, and my very first plane ride in my entire life was to fly here, to move here.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay. What made you? I guess we want to talk. Actually, what made you decide to move to Kansas City?
It was the Boston? Witness Protection Program.
Oh, there you go. The old WPP in action.
No. So, my father worked for the federal government, ironically, and GSA, and he had an opportunity to move here. And I remember them sitting me down and saying, "Look, it was my junior year in high school," and they sat me down and said, "Hey, we're moving to Kansas." I'm like, "Kansas? They have TV there?" Yeah. I mean, you don't understand. When you grow up in the inner city of a city, you don't think any other place exists. And I remember watching like Fast Times at Ridgemont High with my buddies going, There's no place like that. That doesn't exist.
Really?
A high school that looks like that? Are you kidding? And then my father pulled me up to Shawnee Mission South. And I was like,
hey.
this is it.
Country club.
No kidding. I asked him, why'd you take me to the college?
Oh, hey.
And he said, no, this is the high school. This is how they do it here. I said, are you kidding me? They get their own football field, their own baseball. I mean, you talk about sheltered, right? Mm-hmm. I said, all right, whatever. And I was kind of disgruntled already because I moved, away from everybody. But I could have stayed and lived with my grandparents or my aunt or whatever. But they explained to me, they said one thing. They said, I want you to think about your friends. And let's talk about this one and where he's going and that one and where he's going. Oh, you should come. And we did. And honestly, it was the smartest thing.
So if you were a junior in high school, you would have been 15, 16?
Yeah, about 16,
so
almost
they
17.
Made it, sounds like they're kind of implying that you had the option to stay.
I could have stayed and finished high school with my grandparents or my aunt and uncle. All my family's there, right? So, but we... No, I was like, okay.
Where do you fall in your siblings? I know you have...
I have 2 older brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're all about 4.5 years apart. Yeah.
Hey, you're slipping back into your Boston accent.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing.
You're reflecting on your Boston years and you've fallen back into the Boston.
Park the car?
In Harvard Yard. Yep.
Oh, there you go.
Just for you. Yeah.
Well, how did you like living in Boston? I mean, do you have a lot of clear...
Oh, tons. Yeah, it's all I knew. I mean, But, I grew up in an all-Italian neighborhood. Mm-hmm. My very first job, I was a bar back at an Italian event center called Lombardo's. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't write this stuff. I mean, it's the things that I saw during that time. It's just crazy. I mean, but, you knew everybody. You knew everybody. So, I was 14 years old, and I'm walking home from work at 2 o'clock in the morning. Right?
Wow, dang.
Go home,
Dang.
Put a bunch of money, that I made in tips on the deal.
Wad of cash.
Wad of cash, right? And I'm 14 years old. My mother wakes me up. Where'd you get this money?
Yeah, right.
And of course, I worked an Italian wedding.
I've seen this movie. I've seen this movie
telling
before.
I think every Italian kid has seen that movie.
He had the nice shoes.
And lived it.
Yeah.
No, what's the name of that Robert De Niro movie? Is it A Bronx Tale?
Well, yeah,
Bronx Tale's a great one.
Is that sort of semi-biographical?
It's the 50s. That was shot like what? 50s, 60s type,
That's the time
deal.
frame, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But so I can't speak to that because I'm not that old. God, Brian.
No, not at all, man. I think we're all the same age, as a matter of fact.
Same range, yeah.
Yeah. But no, Boston's cool. I'm a huge, wicked huge, you got to say it right, Aerosmith fan, as a result.
Oh, sure. Yeah, okay.
Like legendary. Been to Mama Ken's, which is no longer there. That was a bar they had that they owned and was actually in the bar when they walked in and played 2 songs. Bare Naked Ladies were.
You were?
I was. Bare Naked Ladies were playing.
and Aerosmith walked in.
Aerosmith walked in, played 2 songs, and walked out.
What were the 2 songs?
Like, excuse me.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was, they did Mama Ken, of course, because the place was called Mama Ken's.
Yeah.
And then they did Sweet Emotion, walked out.
So the entire band, not just like Steve Perry or
Just
like
Steve
Joe
Perry,
not Joe
Joe Perry and Steven Tyler walked in and got up on stage.
Just the 2 of them,
That's
not
all
the
you
rest
really
of the
need.
backing band.
You're right.
Yeah, that's all you
Bare
need.
Naked Ladies were on stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody knew who they were
It
then.
was a strip club.
So this is early 90s then.
Early 90s, yeah. It was amazing.
Wow.
It was amazing.
That is pretty awesome. You just happened to be there at the right time.
Happened to be there at the right time. But that place didn't last, but it's just cool. So yeah, love Aerosmith and one of the many bands, one of my many faves.
So I've heard this story, and you may have as well, Brian. But talk about how you just got into music and wanting to play an instrument.
Well, it's actually happened in Boston. So I was always interested, even as a kid, like in instruments.
Any family, like dad, mom, were they?
The only person that I knew of was my grandfather, who passed away when my mother was a kid. Mm-hmm. And he played the guitar. That's the only connection that I know of to anything musical. Mm-hmm. So my brother had his first guitar. He had a Hondo, Fender copy, and he was playing. And I was fascinated by it. And I think I was in 3rd or 4th grade. So whatever that was, age-wise, what? How old are you?
8 or 9.
8 or 9,
something
right?
like that.
And he looked at me and he said, don't touch my guitar. It's okay. And he left, and I would touch his guitar. And I would play, and I would play, and I would play, and I would try
Hopefully
to listen.
he doesn't listen to this.
He knows. Oh, believe me, he knows. Yeah. Right. And this is the middle brother. And one day he caught me, and I was playing. He goes, that sounds pretty good. He goes, play this. And I played a little bit of that, and then next thing you know, we started collaborating. He would play and sing, and I would sing harmony.
You were able to sort of suss out, do this to as opposed to taking lessons. You were just able to figure out.
I learned it all by ear, and it was over a long period of time. Like I had, for a year was like sneaking in and playing his guitar without him catching me.
Hey, look at you.
Yeah, I mean it's funny. It's not till I played in a band with Jim Irwin, our keyboard player and founder, one of the founders of the Suburbans.
God bless him.
Way, way, way back when I was 20 years old.
Oh, hey, wow. Okay.
And I was a guitar player, and we never made it out. The band never performed. It just kind of imploded. But part of the reason it imploded was because I was not that great at lead. And I wasn't good enough to do the stuff that we were doing on lead. I was fine on rhythm, could sing harmonies, no problem. We were doing Dawkins and stuff like that. I'm no George Lynch, I just couldn't pick it up. Yeah. And I remember the band imploding for other reasons too. Some crazy stories there, not with Jim, but some of the members were a little different. But anyway, he told me, Jim looked at me and said, he goes, you never found your niche. You're going to find your niche. And it was after that, like maybe 6 months later, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to find a band and I'll do rhythm and sing backups. And a friend of mine calls me and says, hey, do you know any bass players? And at that time, I think I'm 18 or 19. I think that's about it. Yeah. And he goes, you know any bass players? I said, no, maybe me. He goes, really? He goes, I didn't know you played bass. I know you play guitar. I go, yeah, but I'm thinking about making a switch. Okay. When's audition? He goes, this afternoon at 3.
There you go.
You're hired. I'm not kidding. I took my guitar, I took my amp, went down to Nielsen Music, which became Guitar Center many years, or not Guitar Center, Guitar World.
Whoa. All right.
A month later, down in Overland Park. And I traded in an amp, and I left with a TNT PV amp and a Squier 2 bass.
Wow.
Never played it. Didn't even plug it in. Bought a cable, had a cable already, and showed up at the thing, played the bass like a guitar player, and got the gig.
So you like a guitar player? Do you mean like you were strumming the chords, or were you?
No,
plucking?
I was using a pick, and which some people play bass with a pick, but playing look, bass is a very different instrument. I mean, you're hitting, it's not a melody instrument, right? It's actually a percussive instrument, right? So with notes. So, if you, guitar is obviously a melody instrument. So if you play your bass like a melody instrument, not like a bass player, you still can be okay, but you're not going to have that groove that you will if you're playing like. I guess that's the best way to explain it.
Cliff Burton from Metallica used to play that way.
Yeah,
like it was a guitar.
I mean, yeah, but still, right. Sort of.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to throw you.
That's
off
okay
on
to
that.
throw me, but yeah, because he's still a bass player. But it was, I get you, yeah. But it's so then I learned. Then I took some lessons, and then just to break the. But it was perfect for me because I was able to do harmonies. I was able to do the things that I loved, but get rid of the deficiencies, which were my lead is a deficiency.
Your lead is in
lead guitar.
Oh, lead guitar. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Well, hey, you did well.
I did well. It turned out good.
You're doing great.
That particular band, we were released on a local album. We're called Killing Drum back in the 90s.
Oh, hey, yes. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
I don't remember Killing Drum because I was an Outhouse guy back in the day.
We played the Outhouse.
Well, the band Outhouse, not.
Oh.
I mean, I was the bar
the
Outhouse
Zeros
guy, but
the Zeros guys.
the pre-Zeros.
Yeah.
Proto.
Right.
Okay.
Outhouse is great. Yeah.
But did you have any bands in Boston before you?
Just
Came here.
nothing that
Okay,
ever happened.
you were
So I left, like I say, 16, 17. So
Got the hell out of there. Your parents got you the hell out of there.
they got me the hell out of there. I miss it. Boston's a great place, but
Yeah.
not in the winter.
Okay, sure. Yeah. I can understand that.
Straight up.
Straight up,
No.
dog. So let's talk about the 90s a little bit because
Cool time.
I mean, I'm surprised, and I've said this to a couple guests. Surprised we never ran into each other back in the day.
We probably did.
Maybe. I mean, I know you used to play at, it was America's Pub, and it ended up with, but it was like
The Shadow.
The Shadow. That's it. The Shadow.
We played the Shadow, the Hurricane.
Quarter draw nights. Yeah, the Hurricane. Great place. Right there.
Yep.
It ended up being the Riot Room.
Yep.
And such.
And now it's, what's it called? It's
The Bowery? Is that where the Bowery? No, it's Tin Roof.
Tin Roof. Yeah.
Yeah, which I haven't been there, you know.
How about the Grand Emporium? Did you go to the Grand Emporium?
Not really.
That was a great place.
Not 100%.
That was a great place.
The Johnson County boy, so.
Yeah. Well, you didn't go too far then.
No, not too far from Mama's teat. No.
Jeez.
Where's that whiskey at? Give me the whiskey right
Have
there.
some. It'll make your questions even better.
Would you be offended if I went upstairs and grabbed mine from last
Son
week?
of a bitch.
I tell you what, this guy
Fuck
is
him.
something else. You know, we have a word for that in Italian. We call him a gavone.
Oh, hey, look.
He's a gavone. It means he's got no class.
no
he looks a
need.
gift horse in the mouth. He looks a union horse in the mouth.
I feel like I'm
Right,
listening to Sylvester Stallone now.
Right. I've seen this movie before. It doesn't end good if you're
It doesn't end.
Gavone. Gavone.
No class.
Go get yourself something real
Go
quick.
get
We
something
can
if you're
pause
that
something.
uncomfortable. You really
We
is.
can
You
wait.
can't even stomach that. I
He's
want to
texting
taste
anyway.
what you say is so amazing.
There you go.
Well, is the Old Forester's still
It's
up, but that's
not-
the
that's
basic
I haven't
one.
even
That's
touched
great
it.
too.
That's the basic one. That's
Yeah, I
upstairs,
haven't touched
so.
that in a while.
He swore whiskey until this very moment.
What? Oh, I quit drinking whiskey for a while after the Brad Gaddy incident.
Oh, did you get a little?
A little.
He was somewhat embarrassed.
A lot of.
That's the one that hasn't been released yet, or no?
Yeah.
It's been
I
released,
don't
but we
think-
just
That's
haven't
what I
pushed.
thought.
It's never, it'll never get released.
Shannon sent Brad a link, and Brad never responded.
It's
and I
never
think
actually
that-
just ghosted me
That's
altogether.
so far the only well, no, it's live. It's live. It's just that it's not been promoted on Casey Nights. So,
That's probably best. That one.
all right, I'll be right back.
Put it on America's Most Wanted or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
You know. But no,
I
I'm
cannot
good.
believe Brian is not going to drink the whiskey that I
I'm
brought.
gonna go dump out what was in his glass.
I think he is. He didn't even finish the glass.
No, he didn't even finish it.
Wow.
I've got him for a second because you know what? I'm just a.
You don't like it either?
No, I'm fine. It doesn't bother me a bit. I'm good. We're good. It's all good. So you know, but was it your brother? Who was it though? Didn't you have a relative that like? I don't know, was playing a song that you had heard that you were like, hey, whoa, hey. No? God, I'm just making up shit.
You're
now.
making up stuff.
Man, I swear to God.
It must be the whiskey.
No, it's just me. Me and the Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch.
What is it with you in that show? I got to
all day.
watch it, apparently.
I don't know what happened today, but I really
You
didn't
binged
work. I binge watch Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch. While I
How many
worked.
episodes?
Like maybe 9.
How are your eyes even open? Like,
I'm all messed up in the head right now with the government. So, you know, it's all good. It's fine. We're good.
all messed up in the head with the government.
It is, yes. We've had girls texting, by the way, asking about you.
Oh, that's
Already.
all I need. My
No.
wife's number is.
Hey, your wife is a great person. Her and
She
I
is.
have.
She's awesome.
We both have insurance backgrounds, so we
That's true.
are able to connect on that. So that's really nice.
You know what's funny is the spouse of a musician. Yeah, they're a special person because
You're right.
you know
You're right.
we play a lot. You know, I think Suburbans did at least 50 shows last year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's
Right.
a lot, and they put up with it because they know that it's like such a part of us that would die without it, and possibly make them miserable as a result. Maybe that's why. No. She's great. She's
If you weren't playing-
huge supporter.
There you go. There you go. Oh, he's. It's like taking, it's like a crack addict.
Wow. Look at him. I'm going to try some of that later just to,
Go ahead.
see what it's all about. That's
old,
it. Oh,
old man Forster.
I think you just don't like it because it's made in Lenexa.
Lenexa.
No, nothing against Lenexa.
You got something against Lenexa?
I like the Ben Holiday out of Weston. I like the Tomstown out of Kansas City.
Neither of which are Lenexa.
Well,
My
Are you
question
saying
still
Lunestra?
stands. Yeah.
Or Lenexa?
What is that? It sounds like something that a disclaimer should follow.
It is.
Old Forester 86. It's there.
Oh, Jesus.
Budget.
Do you know that this podcast is probably going to be the longest podcast that you guys have
That's
ever
right.
had?
We prepared.
No.
We planned ahead.
John Roy's last week was like over an hour and a half.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
Most of them
It
last
was.
between an hour and a half. So
Hey, and it was a good one. It was a good one. At least you're not tearing into us like he started with.
Who's picking on you?
the opening clip that I cut out, he just kind of wiping us. He just happened to be like doing this, and it just looked like he was just like miserable, like fuck, hungover.
He was,
Yeah, but he
was
wasn't.
mad.
He wasn't.
He was mad that he wasn't the first guest.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
What took you so long to get to me?
Right. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, well.
Okay. Yeah.
No, he was great.
Yeah,
he was great. He told
He was.
the story about him. He does he's obviously the Brian Johnson of KCDC.
Yep.
So he told us how he got started, and
I'll have to
we're
listen
just
to that.
summarizing last week's episode.
Yeah, let's quit that. Let's talk about Keith Sauro.
That's all right. We're here for Keith Sauro.
How
it's
wonderful
fine.
you are.
Let's talk about them for a second. So that we played before the Suburbans. We were, you ready for this name? Midlife Crime Scene.
What?
Oh, that was a good one.
I thought you were going to say midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Midlife
That was
crime?
the point. It was,
What
it was a play on words.
Yeah.
So that's how it
Who are
started.
you killing in that?
No, we
title?
thought it was pithy. We thought it was funny. I don't know. Anyway, but we opened up for KCDC once at what's that bar out in Independence?
The scene?
The Scene.
Hey,
That was it.
how did I think of that?
Is
That
that
was
still
it.
there?
I don't know if it's still there. This is a long time ago. Like I said, I mean, the Suburbans, we're going on 9 years. This thing was before that. So, yeah, but that's actually what got me back into it. So I had put it down for like 10 years, and Bill Manson, who was the founding member of both those bands, we started together. And then Jim came along and we launched the Suburbans. No, the Suburbans. Brian will correct you. He's right.
It's Suburbans.
It is Suburbans, not the Suburbans. Although our Facebook page says the, because I set it up a long time ago, and once you have so many fans, you can't change it, so you're stuck. But anyway, where was I going with this, Shannon?
So you had met Jim. Jim came into the picture with Midlife Crime Scene.
So you guys reconnected then because you played in a band when you were 20. and then
Way back
did you,
when.
Oh, yeah.
Did you lose touch, or
but-
did you just feel like, hey, I remember you?
We did, but actually before that, and now I remember my story, Bill Manson, called me to fill in. So I don't know if you guys know John Michaels. He's been in a lot of
Oh, cool. Oh,
acts.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so John
Love
needed a bass. He's a great guy, great musician, and played in a lot of stuff. And they needed me to fill in. So in this country deal, and we were playing up at Power and Light. What's that country bar, Power and Light, called?
Oh yeah.
It's PBR.
PBR.
Yes.
Yeah,
Bar.
PBR.
I'm
PBR.
just hitting it on the bar.
You are
fucking
so good.
shit.
That's what happens when you don't drink too much whiskey, apparently.
Right.
Anyways, so he asked me. It wasn't actually PBR. It was actually Barley's. When Barley's had the stage, remember the stage that was when you first walked in, and it was remember that,
So it was on the right. Yeah.
and it was up. It was high,
Yes, it was
right?
high,
It was
yeah.
I
there
never
was a
saw
whole
that.
riser there. It was
Yeah.
perfect. They should have never removed it. It was the best.
That's
setup.
the
it
that's
was-
the Barley's. I never
the
never
one in
saw
Shawnee.
that.
Off Midland,
It was there
yeah.
before.
I never
Right, it's a
I
trip.
never
Yep.
saw that. That
It was great.
It was a trip, man.
It was a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Bill calls me and says, hey, we need a bass player. I said, okay, how many songs? He goes, 45, 50 like normal. I go, dude, I haven't picked up my bass in 10 years. He goes, shut up, you can do it. I said, all right, well, when... how long?
3:30 today.
No, 3.5 weeks or something. And how many times do I get to practice with the band? I don't know, once. I was like, all right, whatever. So we did once or twice and picked songs out, and I showed up. I had my notes everywhere, and we enjoyed it. And Manson leans over and goes, "Did you like it?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, did you really like it? I go, yeah. He goes, good. Let's start a thing again. Because we were in a band. We had a band called the Lounge Lizards, a cover band. Bill Cameron, you know Bill.
Oh, yeah.
He was our lead singer.
Sure.
And I don't think you would know anybody else that was in the band. Alan Gates on guitar. And anyway, we did quite well, you know.
What time frame is this?
So that was, I'm trying to remember, that was before I moved to Las Vegas, actually. So that was...
Oh, that's a wrinkle I didn't know about.
Yeah, I lived in Vegas for a few years. So that was like 90, I think you're right, 4, 5.
Well, okay, so we're still in the decade of the 90s. I thought we were like in the mid 2000s at this point. I had no idea that we was this far back.
No, we had that going, and then we moved to Las Vegas. That's another whole story, and then moved back. And that's when Manson pulled me in. So I moved back in 2000.
Okay. So how does I want to circle back to this Vegas thing. I had no idea that you lived in Vegas. Was this a band thing or a personal thing?
It was a work thing.
A work thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was publishing magazines. I was in sales here,
and you had you already got married to Tiffany yet?
We were married.
You already
We were married. We were living in Roland Park at the time, and the publisher of Kansas City Homes and Gardens and owner of wanted to launch and had a relocation guide, and he wanted to launch one in Las Vegas right before the crazy boom. So we moved out there and launched it and lived there for almost 3 years. Evan, who you met, my oldest, 23, he was born there. Okay. And we moved back pretty much immediately after. So we were only there for like 3 years, and then we moved there like 97, 96, and moved back 2000, right after he was born, and been here ever since.
Okay.
And that's when Bill pulled me back in. Now in Vegas, I was playing with some guys.
Oh, you did? You were playing in Vegas.
Yeah,
okay.
We never made it out. But
So how did you like living in Vegas as opposed to being a tourist in Vegas?
Oh, I loved it. My wife didn't love it, but I loved it. And we were, we're never on the Strip. You go on the Strip when people come into town. Yeah. We lived in Summerlin, which was, northwest. So you looked in our backyard, you looked up the hill, and you saw Mount Charleston, and you looked down and you saw the Strip. It was incredible.
Okay. Yeah, because I hear that's a whole different thing to be living there versus being a tourist there.
Totally, yeah. You only go on the Strip. Look, there's plenty of gambling. If you want to gamble, it's in the grocery stores, it's in the gas stations, it's everywhere. So, you don't have to worry about that.
Did you believe that when my dad was in the Navy, he was stationed in Las Vegas, of all places?
Really, right?
Wow.
That's crazy.
Apparently there's some kind of, I don't know what the connection to water is in Vegas, but there's some kind of facility there that he's never opened up about, but apparently it was like a thing, top secret kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, you got Area 51 and all that too. Maybe. But yeah, he was stationed there. Yeah.
For a few
Interesting.
years. Yeah. Just a little tidbit.
Yeah.
That was in the 60s.
We should ask your dad about that. Maybe you could tell me some secrets of Skinwalker Ranch.
After 9 episodes today. Can't believe you're even vertical.
I need inside information on this.
Yeah.
So you liked living in Vegas. I mean, and then but you didn't have like a public band. You just jammed with some guys.
No, we were with guys that were in the union, because you had to be in the music union to play the casinos out there. And it was, there were a bunch of just amazing players. I mean, honestly, it was some of the best musicians I've ever played with. And we were about to go on tour, and then not tour, but play the casinos, the
circuit.
I'd hardly say tour, but
the casino
circuit, yeah, which pays really, really well and all that, and but then I told them I dropped the bomb, I'm moving, and they were not happy because they had a really hard time finding a bass player, and we got along real well and all that. So I was close then to actually, basically it was a continuation, because I had stopped playing, moved to Vegas, and then was itching, but then I put it down for a long time before Bill pulled me in to sit in, and
I'm glad he did.
Then
so by this point,
so that was 2000. Thanks, man.
Okay, so when you got back into it, you said it was 10 years. Sounds like you stopped after you got back from Vegas. Like 2010 is where we're at then, roughly.
It was about that time, somewhere around there. It might have been a little longer than that. But so then we started the Lounge Lizards, and that was fun. So again, with the bad names.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, we were popular. And then, moved on to Midlife Crime Scene, and then Suburbans. Suburbans is the only good name out of all of them.
I like
Lounge Lizards. I do like Lounge Lizards.
Is good, but yeah.
No, definitely like that. That's a I dig that, definitely.
Well, we're definitely Suburbans guys.
Yeah.
I
Thanks,
think
man.
Brian and I, we've been to quite a few Suburban shows.
Fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
You were one of the bands that got me through COVID.
No, good. Yeah.
There were 3 bands because nobody was playing. It was you, Mem 80s, and Platinum Rock Legends in St. Louis. And because that was I just remember like the very first gig I did after the shutdown, it was a wedding. And I videoed a wedding, and that was June of 2020.
Yeah.
And then you guys were playing Barley's, and I came to Barley's afterward and talked to you, and because that was only half the people can go in there, and so it was kind of half empty, but still, it was like that. You 3 guys, and I'd go to St. Louis every 6 weeks and catch a show there, and M80s were playing, or this, that was just how I got through it.
Yeah.
You guys were the part of the trifecta that got me through it.
Well, I'm so glad we could help. Yeah. And actually, we just kind of thought, if we're going to die, we'll die happy.
Hey,
yeah.
Doing something we love to do. No. It was that was a crazy time. But
you conveyed that thought. I was like, yeah, if I die, you could bury me and dance on my grave. Yes, what you told me.
That's it. That's what I said.
Yep.
That's what I said. Yep. I'm gonna die happy. But it's but yeah, the band has just 9 years now. I think almost 10.
Wow,
been a long time.
How long is
that time served?
Actually, the current lineup is actually less than a year old because Shannon, she's less than a year.
Shannon just joined.
Antonio's just 2 or 3 years. So
we've had some changes over the years.
Yeah, and Colin is 3 or 4 years.
Cullen is 4 years.
Is it Cullen or Colin?
Cullen.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where was he last Saturday? He wasn't drumming, right?
Oh yeah, I noticed that.
Oh, he had something he had to do, and that's when Bill comes in. That's
Bill,
the person who brought me back in. He's the founder.
All right.
Bill what? Bill
Manson.
Bill. Oh, okay. I didn't realize
Bill
that.
Manson.
Okay.
Yeah. So he plays with us maybe 6-8 times a year if Cullen can't, which is perfect. He's happy about that because he gets to scratch the itch.
Yeah.
What a lot of people don't know is that if you're a musician, like you have to have it. It's a weird thing. You miss it. Yeah. Hard to explain.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. There's some times where, strangely, I just like taking photos. You know what I mean? It's
your thing.
Because
you're great at it.
Yeah, just because I remember speaking to COVID again in 2020, and I don't know if this is going to come back, and the authorities for breaking the
COVID
police,
Brian.
But I just remember because it was like everything was shut down for 3 months, and then I went to St. Louis for a Platinum show, and it was like full parking lot. And I'm like, how are the police not breaking this down or shutting this down?
That's how Barley's became.
It's like, how are they not shutting this down? Oh my, this is ridiculous. And then I was afraid to post anything publicly because that was when people on Facebook would just, how dare you do that? What's wrong? You get there's a whole monitors out there, right? But I remember taking photos and just taking party pics of people and like, oh man, I miss this. So so I get it. I get that sort of desire, that need to get out and get after it.
COVID titties.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
And I was non-ironically drinking Corona all night. I remember that.
I just got that. Yeah. Right.
Corona sales shot through the roof. Yeah. But let's change the subject, shall we?
Before the authorities.
That's right.
Come after us.
No, I'm not worried about that. Believe me.
You do have a really great lineup right now.
We really do.
A really good group. I've mentioned this to Antonio when he was here. That you can just watch your band play, and man, you're all in your own space. Just killing it.
We love it. Yeah. We love it. And everybody has their place. People say, why do you get hired? Why do people hire you? Energy and variety. Mm-hmm. I think that's fairly apparent. Brian is the Energizer Bunny. Then you add Shannon to the mix. Now we got crazy energy on both sides of the stage.
Yeah, sure, right.
And then Jim.
And Brian is the lead singer. And Shannon, they're
Brian
both.
Wallace,
Brian Wallace is the male lead singer. Shannon is the female lead singer. So they both complement each other.
They do
very well.
They both go into the crowd at different intervals.
Yep. And then Jim is a monster in his own right. To do what we do, and there's nothing wrong with this, but a lot of bands play with tracks behind them, and there's nothing wrong with that. We don't, because we have Jim, and he's a machine.
I agree.
So it's just ridiculous. And part of the reason we don't isn't because we don't think it wouldn't sound good or we have anything against it. Part of it is we like to not be in a box. And what I mean by that is if you have tracks behind you, that verse has to start at that particular point.
Yeah.
That doesn't give Brian or Shannon any freedom to stretch, enjoy the crowd, do whatever. So we're really a performance band. You know, you listen to everybody. So Jim on keys, then you got Cullen on drums, right? He's fantastic.
Solid.
And then, of course, Antonio
Right.
is something else.
Fantastic.
And then Jack on sound and Tori on lights. So, I mean, it's a whole thing. You know, everybody's got their part.
Yeah, no, and they do a banging smash up job on that. I don't know why I said banging or smash up. Really, they
You
do
said
a great
both.
job.
You said
Yes.
both. Yeah.
Or all three now.
Or all three.
This last weekend was a really great crowd. It
was fun.
Yeah, it seems like you guys, your crowds are just getting better and better.
Seems like it. Yeah. I mean, I call it time served. You know, when you play as many shows as we've had over the 9 years, you know, more and more people know you. And we're still a new kid on the block. You know, you think about the Zeros, which I think are
20 years.
Honestly. Yeah, 20 years. And the Zeros are, you know, to me, you know, they're fantastic, right? I mean, they're a great band.
They're flying to Florida right now. I just saw a post while I was coming
that's
over
so
here.
cool.
See that, right?
When I was waiting in line at the Good Sense, when that sandwich I was eating in front of you
The weather baby drool.
that I didn't offer to share.
Not
Didn't
even
you
a
pour
bite.
whiskey on that? No.
No, he wouldn't
no.
because he doesn't like my whiskey.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang it! Where's the other one?
That's the first time that one's been hit. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's exactly what the sound my wife makes when I come home from work.
Oh.
That's it. That's it.
okay, stop it.
Jesus Christ! You gotta stop that
Don't
one.
bring him into this. He didn't do anything.
So let's go back to the 90s. What bands were you in the 90s?
So really, the only one of real record was Killing Drum.
Was Killing Drum.
So we, you know, were all original. We were very alternative, and you know, the Outhouse, you know,
Yes,
which is
right.
not a bar now.
No,
right?
it's
a
not
little
a bar?
something else.
Oh, it's
yeah.
a strip club.
It's a
Right.
strip club now. But back then, it was a live music venue. In
Hey.
fact, if you look it up on YouTube, just look up the Outhouse. It's a killer video.
Yeah, right.
It talks all about it, the history.
Big biggies,
Everybody's played there. Everybody's played there. We used to play there all the time, and we were not everybody, but you know, we were up and coming. And we were released on a CD called Fresh Sounds from Middle America.
Oh, wow. Fresh Sounds.
We were on there with the front.
That sounds like an introduction of a guy, of a PBS radio guy. Ladies and gentlemen, fresh sounds from Middle America.
Yeah, it's like sweaty balls. Right, we'll get into that, right? That deal. No, but it was actually like, that was number 6 or 7 of this album that they were publishing of local bands. And, you know, Kill Whitey was on there, which became Stick later.
Yeah.
You had The Front. I can't even remember all the bands. It was a really cool
Oh,
thing.
the front. Yeah. Mike Green.
Yeah. Yeah.
Later of the Shanks.
Yep. I think.
Shanks. I
And,
remember
and,
listening.
and Shane Miller. Shane Miller, they both ended up in the Shanks.
We were all on that album, and I got a phone call from Roadrunner Records, and then Atlantic Records, and then somebody else, and they all wanted to check us out, and they came down to the Shadow, and I'm a publisher now. You know, so basically it didn't happen, but it was amazing experience. I mean, and it was great. And they sniffed around. They liked this. They wanted everything to sound like that one song that was on there. And we were very eclectic. So we were not what they were looking for. But it was really cool. So it came close. I mean, we got some sniffs.
Did they explain that to you, or did they just like leave and you never heard back from them?
One guy explained it to me.
Okay.
And I get it. They were like, we were hoping everything would sound like that. They were looking for more people to sound like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which, by the way, we got a phone call to open up for the Red Hot Chili Peppers at the Shadow.
That's it.
But we could not find our guitar player, and there was no cell phones back then, and no way to find him. So we were not able to. Basically, their opening act imploded. I guess got in a huge fight on tour and imploded, and so no, we didn't get a chance to do that. But we did watch the show at the Shadow, which is crazy when you think about the Red Hot Chili Peppers, how huge they are. But back then, they were underground more. I mean,
really? I mean, that's like, I remember I thought they were already pretty big by the 90s.
No, in fact, they didn't even they played at the Outhouse.
Weird.
Yeah, I mean, it was like maybe 96, 97 before they really got going.
And even then, they were still more going for the alternative crowd. They hadn't crossed over.
Yeah.
They hadn't crossed over.
And so what bar was that again? The Shadow, right?
So, which is now America's, what is it now? It's an arcade now.
Yeah, it's not, it's not even a bar.
Like a bar arcade.
The Shadow turned into America's Pub.
Yep.
And then it turned into nothing for a while. But Brian, the neat thing about the Shadow was that wasn't the bar like down in a pit, kinda, and you stood over it, maybe, or am I thinking of something different? I'm way off on that.
It was a little different. Maybe
like,
I can't really remember. I should, because we were the we had
Which
the
one
open
was
mic
the Shadow?
night
Because then it became did it become America's Pub or the Atlantis?
America's Pub.
Okay, so
it's right there on that corner.
Right
I never
in the corner,
saw a show there, but I think I know the area that you're talking about because I was in there maybe once or twice.
And actually, you're right. The bar in the front part sank down. You're exactly right. Now that I think about it, that's been years.
Yeah. I've just heard so many stories about Westport in the 90s, and I didn't move here until 99, and I didn't really start getting into the music scene until like 2005 when it was all cover bands by that point. But the stories I hear from people about Westport in the 90s sounded like some kind of Shangri-La era.
It really was. We had the best live music scene.
Limitless
ever.
dream. There was a time of dreams.
There was a time of
Hurricane
dreams.
was pretty lit back
It was
in the day,
cool.
man. It was really great spot.
And that people would come out like from Wednesday night to even Sunday night. It would just be crowded, packed night after night after night, all the time. It's just
and they didn't block off the streets back then. You didn't have to worry about that.
It was a little safer too.
Yeah, it was a little safer.
But that was also before you had your Power and Lights and all these other places that blew up elsewhere.
That was when downtown was a ghost town.
Yes.
Like it was depressing to go downtown. Not anymore. It's amazing.
Unless it was Halloween, and then you go to
the haunted houses.
Right. That was the only good thing about downtown.
Right.
Yeah. Or the Beast or whatever.
The Beast.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. That's.
I can't believe you didn't spend much time at the Grand Emporium. To me, that was the Mecca.
You know, I can't believe I didn't either. I don't know where I was. I was all over the place. That's why we never ran into each other.
How about Davies Uptown?
Yeah, sure. No, I'd go to Davies.
That was cool.
And that's
we were one
gone.
of the first.
That got burnt down, right?
Did.
Yeah.
We were one of the first bands to ever play Davies Uptown. It was before they had the other side.
Okay. Oh,
and we played for 2 people. We're like, this one's for the bartender.
Hey. Oh.
You know? That's tough. Any musician knows what I'm talking about, believe me.
No, that reminds me of there was this bar in downtown Overland Park that was open for a very brief time. It was on the same strip as the other place.
Okay.
Down there, and I don't remember what it was called. But Tyson Leslie was booking shows there, and
he's unbelievable, by the way.
He booked the actor from one of the kids from American Pie.
Really?
Kevin. I don't know if you remember that movie or Who's Who.
I remember the movie,
but he had a band, and Tyson booked him to play this little tiny bar in over, and it was like literally just the wait staff and the band in there, and he was the actor. I can't remember his name offhand, but very much he was gracious, and I think maybe, but how just tough does that got to be? Especially but it might have been a Sunday night too. I don't remember his name, but
yeah. Mm-hmm. So, did you go to the show?
No, I didn't. I just remember Tyson, and he was promoting it as, "Hey, it's that guy from American Pie. He's got a band and he's playing." And I looked him up, and he could sing, and they had a nice. He had a nice, well produced.
Which one's Kevin? I can't remember.
I'm going to Google it right now.
I want to know.
I think it's one of those 3-name actors.
So he booked the Grand Emporium back in the day.
No. This is Overland Park, not
Oh, that
Granite
Overland
Well,
Park
yeah,
place.
yeah.
I'm sorry. You lost me. Yeah. What was the name of that place? You remember? It wasn't like Pogo's or something, was it?
No. This was
Remember that place?
no. We're in a whole. We're more modern. I mean, I know we're jumping around in the.
I know. Time
we're
has no limits.
We're in the late aughts, early teens of 2011 to 2010.
Okay.
But Thomas Ian Nichols was the name of the actor.
Okay.
Yeah. And he had a band, and he, but I didn't go to the show, but, he, it just made me, when you talked about playing in front of two people, that made me think of that show and just how hard or demoralized. I don't want to,
It is. It's not demoralizing. It's you feed off the crowd.
Exactly.
Right? And the energy that they give you, hopefully they think they get it back, right?
Mm-hmm. And when there's nothing to bounce off.
But I can tell you that when you get it, it becomes a very different thing up there.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
it's like I explained to Shannon's husband. I think I told you this about how, he asked me, it was about a month ago. I think it was your December Barley show or maybe November. And he's like, man, how do you not get bored coming to all these shows weekend after weekend, man? Because he's thinking maybe it gets old. It's the same old thing. And I explained that exact same thing to him. It's like, part of it is I like to socialize, and I know I have a lot of friends that go to these things, to see these shows. But but what I've noted was when you get to that moment when there's this energy in the crowd, the band's feeding off of, and the crowd, I just like being around. I like being around. I like being around that energy.
I like being up front dancing.
Yeah, I've seen you
by the
dance. Way. You got the moves. You got the moves like Jagga.
Hey, thank you for that.
No, but Mike in his own right is a fantastic singer and musician himself, and I get it. It's like when you're in the business, right, and you hear the same songs. I mean, we can't swap out 50 songs, 55 songs every time you come to a show.
Right.
We can put them in a different order. We can pull some of the stuff that's rested and maybe change out about 15% of what's there, which we usually try to do. But you still kind of fall into a routine a little bit sometimes in the way you do things. You start with the same thing, stop with the same thing. And sometimes you got to step back and do it a little different. But, I think for you, right, and for the fans that are out there, they love the energy.
Yeah.
So they don't really care, and they couldn't remember, the order of things anyway.
Right.
It's a lot of songs.
What I particularly enjoy that you guys do are sort of what I think Brian calls your show tunes. You know, the Grease duo and the what's the
Time of My Life.
Time of My
Life.
I'm trying to think of the movie that was But that's a nice little twist that nobody else does that I really enjoy.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks,
It's Dirty Dancing, I think it was Time of My Life.
Correct.
I think it was. You're right. Boy, you're on. That's 3. You got 3 for 3.
Hey, there you go. It is. You have the one-off set, kind of, sort of.
But they're all hits.
They're all hits.
Like mega hits.
Right, right. But you can't go to hear it 3 times in a week.
Yeah.
If you go to different bars, different bands, you're not going to hear that song.
You wouldn't
those songs
probably
3
for
times
any.
a week.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's kind of Mike's thing, But it's and my wife's thing, and all of our spouses for that matter, right? But it's they go because they love the people. They're but it's we love what we do, and it's a part of us, right? And the group. I would call these people brothers. I mean, they're literally brothers and sisters. I mean,
fam. Yeah.
It's a connection that until you're in a band and you perform and you're together, that I don't think people can understand. I think it's probably kin to a really good sports team.
Yeah.
Maybe it's kin to that. Like they would feel like it.
You mean like the Kansas City Chiefs or something then?
So you're like Travis Kelce and Brian, Patrick Mahomes, and Shannon is Taylor Swift. Is that
That's it. That's exactly what we're saying.
Sorry, guys.
That's exactly what we're saying.
No.
Yeah.
You guys,
no, but I think any band will tell you that. I mean, it's a relationship and a connection that is second only to maybe real siblings,
Yeah.
or your parents or things like that. It's right up there in the top 3 or 4.
Awesome.
Brian is really grown into his own. He's the master of ceremonies.
He is the master of ceremonies. He's the best front man I've probably ever experienced.
Hey, that's great. Yeah.
Great singer, great
full
energy.
Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah.
Right on.
It's fun. And Shannon, she jokes with me because I said it last time. The newest member, she goes, she said it over the mic last week. I don't know if you were there. She goes, I'm only the newest member till somebody else quits and you got to swap them out.
Oh.
So you can stop saying that. She was teasing me, right?
No.
And I was like, yeah, you're right. Actually, you're right. It's that's how it is. But, she came in like with a blaze of glory,
And that was a very fortunate, I don't know how much of the story you're willing to tell, but you just kind of randomly.
I'll tell the whole story.
Go for it.
So Jillian was a fantastic addition.
This is the previous singer.
Previous singer, Jillian Brower. We miss her. Sweet
and
person.
no, I think that needs some more backstory because you didn't start off having a female singer.
I was just going to say that. That's correct. We were a 5-piece, male only for many years. And it was about 3 years ago when, at a local bar right near my house called Nub's Pub. Anybody been? Give him a gross self-promotion. Nub's Pub.
Off
great.
K7
Corey's
and Johnson Drive.
That's it.
Corey's a great
I made it
great
home.
food, good
And
people.
Shawnee.
Yep. And, Thursday night we'd go out, my buddies hang out, and they had, their karaoke going, and Jillian was singing. And I listened to her for a year. And then I told her, I said, hey, what do you, she goes, I would love to be in the band, or something like that. So, well, we've never done this. We never thought about, having a female singer. But the thing is this, people only care about the vocals. Let's be honest. When you go hear a band, the musicians could be the best musicians in the world. And if the vocals aren't good, you'll say the band sucks. Right? So, Brian is fantastic, but he can't do everything. Right? You can't do female songs. So there's a whole world out there that the band can play because the musicianship is so good. We literally can play anything, but we can't sing anything. So I was like, let's try it. So I tricked the band one night, and they were pissed at first, playing Barley's. And I said, Jillian, show up, and I'm going to pull you up on stage, and you're going to sing Closer, which we were doing.
Closer, what?
The song Closer by the Chainsmokers, we were actually doing without a female singer.
Closer.
Right?
Can you hum that? I'm not familiar with that.
Baby, you be closer in the backseat of a Rover,
okay.
right? So anyway, so she comes walking in, and we're wireless, so I stopped down there and I was talking to her. I was playing. Are you ready? She goes, yeah. And I called her up, and everybody hates when we call somebody up on stage because you don't know. It's like karaoke night or whatever.
Right.
Well, so Jim's looking at me. He's mad. I'm like, hey, trust me. Just trust me. She killed it. She sang it.
Hey.
The place went berserk. I'm like, oh. And Brian's like, she goes up and sings one song. I've been singing 40. Right? And it's like, but it was just different. It was different. So we said, hey, are you willing to try this? Do a cameo, 3 songs. We're going to do 5-6 shows. If it feels right, we'll work it out. But you got to be willing to do it. Part of it was a test. She's, 22 years old. And here's,
a bunch of 50.
Bunch of 50-somethings.
Going on 50.
Yeah. No, most of us 50s. Cullen's not. And I don't think Antonio is either. But anyway, so half and half. And we tried it. We all agreed it would work. We could extend more, and here it was. But ultimately, at 23 and starting to do really, really well, she wanted to go do some other stuff.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, sure.
So we're at Barley's again. Yes, we play more than Barley's, but really it's one of the few bars we play because we do a lot of corporate and private stuff, right? So we
should have them be a sponsor of the podcast.
Barley's should be a sponsor.
I think you're onto something.
Sponsorships.
That's right.
We do ad reads. You want great dinners? Come to Barley's. Thursday night appetizers
Right.
are...
Hey.
Right? So you guys know Terry with Casey Groove Therapy and
Yes, right.
Terry
Phil
Adams.
Collins experience. Yeah.
Yeah. So he is at my show, him and his wife and some friends. I'm like talking to him. Hey, how you doing, man? We talked about coming up and singing a little bit. Great singer, great guy too. And I go, dude, we're about to lose our female lead. Any suggestions? He goes, he's from England. He goes, right there, mate. Shannon Bone. She's kind of the best in the business. Want me to introduce you? It's kind of sounded Australian there. It wasn't very good. Sorry if you're listening to this. Anyway, so he introduces me.
I'm going to tag him in this, so he
You
knows.
should.
Please do.
And timestamp his point in the
interview
podcast.
him.
Yeah. So anyway, he introduced me. I said, hey, we're about to go on. See what you think. But, we're looking. You want to get together? We'll talk tomorrow. We exchanged numbers, right? So she had to leave after first set. She said she couldn't stay. And the next day we spoke, and she goes, yeah, how fun. I'd love to. Let's try it out. So we got together, tried it out. And
there's more to the story to this. I'm going to interject now because I've known Shannon for a long time. And as it happens, her and her husband had moved to Florida about 9 years ago now. They lived there for 4 years.
Fact.
Then they moved to North Carolina for another 4 years. And that night you met her and talked to her was literally like within, I don't know the exact time frame, but they had just moved back.
You're right.
So the serendipity
Timing.
there, as far as timing, that you were looking for a new female lead singer.
And there she is.
And she had just moved back. So just the timing of that was just so perfect.
That's nice.
And there was one other thing that she told me that you didn't mention when you called her talked on the phone. And she was like, okay, there's 2 deal breakers. I will not sing I Love Rock and Roll, nor will I sing Hit Me With Your Best Shot. Those are deal breakers.
That's true.
And Brian was like, you're in. Let's sign you now.
And I was like, take her. No, you're in.
That's funny. What's the song that you can't stand?
Everybody gives me crap for I Love Rock and Roll, but I don't.
That's it.
I don't. What I mind, and this is probably the wrong thing to say, is like certain people make such a big deal about it. I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake. I don't mind it, but like especially the superstar
Scotty McBee. Gotcha.
Scotty McBee. Yeah. That's his. I swear to my joke is that he's written.
Drummer.
My joke is that he's
singer, guitar player.
Yeah.
My joke is that he's written like an extra set of lyrics that they do a 20-minute extended version just because I'm there.
Of course,
that's my joke.
Don't you feel special?
Yes. No.
We just all hope that you'll take our photo because he's a great photographer.
Who? Scotty McBee?
No.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Brian Rice. Oh, my God. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Forgot. Mine is I Footloose. I don't like. I'm not a big.
I'm going to play an extended version for you.
And Johnny's is Sweet Caroline.
There you go.
Yep. I'm going to play that one for Johnny too.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're still nursing.
I'm still sipping.
While we're hey, you know what? I'm out. Why don't you pour some of that for me?
Oh boy,
let's get that on camera.
You know it's
too.
about to happen.
Yeah, it all changes from here after this one, bro.
Oh my gosh.
This is when he says we can't air the episode.
What kind of questions are they?
If I start talking to myself, so you're great. I love you.
You too, bro.
You're a great.
You
bass
guys
player.
are awesome. Oh, thanks.
One of your endearing things is when you yell, somebody scream.
That's it. Yeah, that's the hook.
Somebody scream. It's a hook. Right.
The big joke at a Design Casey, which is the magazine you publish. When you were hosting an event, the big joke is, is he going to shout it there? You never do, but that's the kind of the joke. And the running gag is Johnny, our friend Johnny and Meredith, your singer Brian's
and
wife,
myself, and a couple other people.
Everybody keeps track of how many times.
Yes.
And there's a bet. It's in there a bet you guys have.
We have a wager on
really?
how many times.
How many times did I say it last week?
Oh, I've got to talk about that one.
I think it was light.
So I went low. I went 7 times. That was my bet.
7 times.
At the end, no, you were at like 6.
Okay.
And at the end,
and then you did this weird shout. You did some repetitive thing. It was like
right.
We were
right.
doing Chiefs. No, we were doing Chiefs on jump.
And
instead
so
of jump,
you
we were going
kept
Chiefs.
saying that. You kept saying like somebody's. I don't know what you were saying, but they counted it, and I was upset a little bit because I lost automatically.
Now, Kurt from the M80s shouts somebody scream a lot. Now it's like we're sort of like, he's ripping him off. He's ripping you off.
Oh,
Kurt's ripping you off. No,
Kurt doesn't rip me off. Kurt's awesome. Yeah.
But that's sort of the, now it's like every time I hear that phrase, any other band that wants to shout that, I think of you.
I stole that from Brian Couch of Switch.
He used to shout that?
He used to say all the time.
Right.
And I told him that last time I was at a show. I said, dude, you remember somebody? He goes, yeah, I say that. I say it all the time. He goes, oh, that's
Didn't
fine.
they just play somewhere?
switched.
Brian's not in.
Yeah, he's no
Switch anymore.
longer
He
in
retired
Switch,
from it,
but that
they did.
That band still
They're good people.
Nah,
The whole music scene is like amazing. Like everybody's cool. Everybody's gracious to each other.
Right.
It's just there's a lot of talent in town. A ton.
Oh, I agree with you 100%.
We all see it coalesce at Tyson Leslie's Purple Jams every Memorial Day Sunday.
I keep getting invited and I'm never there.
You need to go.
I'm out of town or something. Like I've been asked to play it.
Yeah,
and then I
Memorial
couldn't.
Day. Yeah, Memorial Day weekend.
Set aside time. You can go out.
Jim's done the last
Jim's
two.
done it the last two. I connected him actually. Yeah.
Jim Irwin is there. Right.
Yeah.
We all need to go to.
And Shannon's been there. She's
IHOP.
done that.
Yep.
Yeah,
She's
Michael
done it. Mike's done it. Yep.
You know, I think they're
I need
doing
to
another
do it.
one. Yeah.
2:00 in the morning. We'll go to
IHOP.
IHOP.
When Patrick's blacked out.
Right.
Patrick, who
Okay.
we may or may not have interviewed previously.
Did we?
I know what
he was our
Patrick you're
first-
talking about, but I
know.
chose not to say his last name.
Oh. Okay.
Something about
just
drones.
'cause
I don't
you
know.
Yo, are we talking about the secret of Skinwalker Ranch again? All of a sudden?
We are. And now I have to watch the show. You're freaking out. I'm surrounded by
don't.
Darth Vader stuff. You got Darth Vader in a suit and tie.
Yes,
You got
that's
all the old
businessman
Like
Vader.
you're into it.
Deep, bro.
That's it. You got a
Deep into
Chewbacca.
it.
Is that Chewbacca? That's
We are
See what happens?
so we're already an hour in. Do you want to take a break to do anything, or want to keep going?
I don't know.
Take a
You
short
wanna do
break and
anything?
reconvene.
What time is it?
It's
It's almost 8:00.
wow.
I mean, we're in it to win it.
All right, we can keep going, but I felt like typically.
Does anyone really want to listen? Most people didn't want to listen this long.
You know
now
what?
we're going to give them more.
Let's do an official ending and then do a late night version of this.
overtime like Bill Maher
Do
does?
an overtime version.
Well, no, we still have a lot to talk about. I mean, we could like. So why I think like
Okay.
All
right.
We could
Let's take a break.
Take a
We
short
might have
break.
to take a break.
Okay, we can take a short break.
All right.
All right, let's do
We'll
that.
be back
Hey,
right after this.
Hey. Yeah. Kansas City Knights. Woo.
And we're back.
Yep.
There you go.
Part two of Kansas City Knights interview
Oh my
with
gosh.
Keith Sauro,
That's me.
the great and powerful.
Somebody fucking scream.
Somebody scream.
Yeah, there it is.
You don't need to say the F word in there. It's not necessary.
I'm sorry about that. My bad.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, you bet. We're happy to have you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like, you go, Shannon.
Okay.
Great
it's the whiskey.
question.
It's that Union Horse Distilling Company Reserve.
That's it. Oh, you want some more of that?
You know, I'll take the Old Forester. No,
Even Shannon saying Old Forester.
I'm telling you. I'm going to try some
no.
so you can prove to me that it's better.
Well,
What?
that's the bottom shelf Old Forester.
oh.
If it was like 1910 or 1920 or 1847,
How much was that bottle?
$25 maybe?
That's 36.
Man, he paid up for this. For you, dog.
For you, I paid up. And you, yeah.
Delivered. Brian
I think I
does
did.
a
That's
lot
like,
of
this
work.
reminds me of
Does a lot
what
of work for
our
Keith.
other friend Keith Euling.
Oh.
Always he takes the fucking same bitch.
Oh.
But it doesn't.
Brian, you do a lot of work for Keith.
Yes.
I mean, you've got anybody that's watching this podcast is a friend of yours and knows what kind of soirees you put on.
The 7 or
For
8
your
people.
company.
Yep.
Actually, yeah,
Man,
no, that is a great
Hell yeah.
what, because we've talked about your musical career,
Yeah.
but we really haven't talked about your livelihood, which is you are the publisher
Yeah.
of designkc.com, and that's something that you and then what's the other
It's
that I
the
keep
real estate book and new home guide and design KC.
Yes, but I remember way back when you started. This was summer of 2021, and you were telling me let's we're going to segue away from the music, because one of the things that I think is really valuable when we do these podcasts is to learn about the regular life outside of the music. It doesn't have to be about music. What you do for a living, and obviously you're a publisher, but walk us through the whole process of what made you start thinking about putting together a magazine like Design KC, and then how about how everybody responded when you started sharing and like trying to corral people and recruit people into it.
Yeah, it was You ever heard of the book called The Purple Cow or Good to Great?
Not offhand, no.
So it's like, I thought it was BS my entire life, right? They said if you come up with an idea that is so hot that it just takes on a life of its own, it's the purple cow, right? Or it went from good to great, this company, because it was just this great idea. So I had a lot of experiences. You know, I talked about living in Vegas. Why did I move back? I moved back. I worked for a company that published Kansas City Homes and Gardens. Guy knew his stuff. He was a pioneer. Dave Leathers, I'll even say his name. And, right? So, but he, you know, he taught me a lot about publishing, but that was my first experience with a home and garden magazine.
How old were you back then when you started this?
I was 20.
No, just a few years ago.
Two.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right.
Dang, okay.
Right.
All right. So you've been doing this for a bit.
I've been doing this a while. Yeah, it's been 30 plus years. So Design KC is a culmination of all these different things. I don't want to go. I did that, and then when I was living in Las Vegas, I was publishing a relocation guide. It had nothing to do with design, but what got me back to Kansas City was I called the publisher, who was Connors Publishing, this big publishing company. They publish Interior Design Magazine, if you ever heard of it. It's like a national, very popular, respected book. And they had this little small publishing company that they own, and they were publishing these things called the Home Book. So it was Las Vegas Home Book, which was a hardcover book, nothing but design, and tabbed. So it was a resource, right? But it was very high quality, and it was this size.
And he's for those listening, it's this size, meaning it's not the size of a normal magazine, or
sorry if you're listening. Yeah, so it's a about the half the size of a normal magazine,
the digest size, as they would call it,
but hardcover and a little longer, like really unique size.
So is it
right?
like this, or like?
Yeah. Right? I'm breaking stuff, knocking stuff over, trying to show. Italians talk with their hands on a good day.
Hey,
Leave me alone.
just as long as you don't
half
shoot
of Italian
either one
is
of
hand
us.
gestures.
As long
That's
as
it.
we're not dead. But sorry.
So anyway, I pitched that publisher about Kansas City, and I found the guy because I ended up meeting the publisher of the Las Vegas Home Book, and she told me who to call. So I found the guy, called him, and just said, finally get him on the phone, and told him who I was and what I was thinking of doing. I want to move back to Kansas City, and I want to launch a Kansas City Home Book. Are you guys in? That's basically what I said.
Okay, yeah.
And he said, Kansas City isn't even on our map.
Yeah. Right.
Tell me about Kansas City. So I did. And we went back there, and luckily we did good. I mean, we were the top.
Now, this is not Design KC yet. This is my
first experience in design books. Second, actually. First was the company, but I wasn't really working in it, but I was looking at it. I was watching. I was doing the relocation guide thing.
Right.
Totally different clientele, right? But still in the magazine business. So then so then I do the Home Book, and then that guy sells Kansas City Homes and Gardens to this company that owns Apartment Finder. That owns what we're talking about anyway.
Okay.
It's a big publishing company. Yeah. And I end up being hired to be the publisher because he's out, right? He sold his company. And now I'm the publisher of Kansas City Homes and Gardens. So now I've had 3 experiences all around design. And what I found was there's stuff missing. And long story short, I saw a hole in the Kansas City market. I thought doing this oversized, really nice quality book would go.
Oh, hey.
And I'm so surprised at how it went.
What a quality
the support.
book that
There's
is.
so much talent in town.
But
Thanks.
no, I really am interested in you telling, because I remember how when you recruited your editor or publisher, Andrea. Is she you're the publisher, she's the editor. So like how you recruited, because it was almost the same thing. Every time you pitched it, you got the same response before you could even finish. As that.
Yeah. So when I was with Andrea, was the associate editor at Kansas City Homes and Gardens when I took over, and the CEO of this company that bought us, I'm reporting to him directly because we're the first magazine of this kind. They own the real estate books, or all these real estate market books, and they own all these apartment books, and now they want to get into the design space. So we're the first one they buy.
Hey, there you go.
Right?
Right.
So,
yeah.
Shannon, you
Why
crack me
not?
up. There you go. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
So you cracked me up. You know that?
What? I totally agree with you. I know your book.
It's funny.
I know your magazine. I freaking love it. It's quality.
Thanks.
The magazine is like this fucking thick.
Yeah,
you know
that's because there's so much talent. Like we're supported.
Well,
it's great.
yeah, exactly.
But anyway, so here's Andrea, and she is the associate editor, and she doesn't have any chance because the owner was the editor and the publisher. So there you go.
So she doesn't have a chance to become an editor in her own right. She's just
she
stuck
writes
at
what he
associate.
tells. She writes what he tells.
So she's stuck at. She's hit a ceiling at that company.
At that company, right? So in walks me and out walks him, and I need an editor. Mm-hmm. I'm not an editor, right? I am not. Anyway, and a publisher, for those of you who don't know, we're basically a general manager, and our job is to manage the entire, production of the magazine, have the right people, the sales for the advertising, because you don't live if you don't sell advertising. It's that simple, right? And we need the support, and people have to respect it and like it, and you have to have a reader and all this stuff, right? So it's that. So the CEO asked me, I've got a couple of great candidates that I would like to present to you to be your editor. It's your choice. And I said, what about this lady over here, Andrea,
way to be,
that is being squashed? I said, can we let it breathe for a little bit? Let's see what she can do. Mm-hmm. And he said, absolutely.
Yeah.
And she absolutely thought, just flourished.
How long has she been doing it? You may have said it already, but how long has she been doing her?
She's obviously, she's younger than me, a lot younger than me, right? So, but 20 years for her?
No, hey, okay, well.
Yeah.
Great.
25?
Good.
Yeah. So anyway, and she's great, right? So all the things that I didn't like about the magazine, fast forward all these years, I get this opportunity. There's no design magazine. I see the talent. There's so much wealth in Kansas City.
As I remember, the story is that she had kind of gotten out of the business, or she wasn't part of it.
No. So I come up with this idea. I'm publishing the real estate book and New Home Guide. We're doing well. We're, everything's focused. Like anything we do is focused. Like this is real estate. You don't pick up, if you're not interested in real estate, why would you pick it up? Because that's what it is. Design. If you're not interested in design, there's no way you're going to pick up Design KC, right? Mm-hmm. So just be focused, and the reader understands and all that. So I had all these ideas for this book, and I call Andrea, and we sit down, and we have lunch, and I explain to her what we're doing, and she goes, but I was done. Like I would just stopped. I was just pulling my name off, not going to write anymore. Right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to open a yoga studio. She's got this great property in KCK that she rents out a place. Yeah, she's incredible, right? And she's done. And I said, would you do me a favor? Just think about it over the weekend. We'll talk Monday. Just think about it. Think about how cool this would be, right? Anyway, so call her back Monday. She goes, all right. And that was that. And she's done a great job. I think she's really having a good time.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. And then also, you've told stories about how when you pitch to actual potential advertisers and people, like, wouldn't they just stop you in mid-sentence and say, yes, we're in?
That actually happened. That happened with a very, very high-end subdivision that I won't say the name of, and we were talking, and I told them what we were doing, and they just said, yeah, Kansas City needs us. I'm in. I want this space forever. It's like, okay. That was nice.
Yeah.
So it was just, and then you grow and you do different things. But, I tell the team the same thing all the time. You're only as good as your last issue, and you're only as good as your last event. And we do a lot of events.
That's quarterly.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's not even quarter. Like, there's another one next week. You're doing another cocktails and content next week.
Events. Oh, really? Yeah, we do about 11 events.
That's the VIP events that
no wonder
the Cretans like you cannot attend, Shannon.
It's at 3 Light, actually. You should come. It's pretty cool.
It's at 3 Light?
Oh, wow.
That's brand
new. It's at 3 Light.
Is Kansas City Knights advertising or something? How's Shannon ending up? Or is he my assistant? Is that how he's getting
You are Brian's assistant.
I've been Brian's assistant many a time. No problem.
We're all
speaking
Brian's
of, I need you as an assistant for a photo shoot next week.
I'm busy. No, I'm watching
next Wednesday.
Skinwalker Ranch. I'm sorry.
He is busy.
Damn it. God.
Now,
oh my gosh.
I'm in, bro.
But,
I'm there for you.
Anyway, that's off. That's an aside. But yeah, I mean, it's funny how I wish I would take some of these lessons that I observed to my own personal use, but you are one of the most successful friends that I've got.
No.
And
That's frightening.
Wow.
I
no,
watch.
hey,
I don't know.
right.
I feel like you are
he's
very
right, Doc. You
driven,
built
and then
it,
I see. Yeah, I mean, you and there's like
thanks.
John Michaels, isn't it? You mentioned John Michaels earlier.
Yeah.
Just always busy, and you're always driven. That's kind of the thing.
Shaking
like
hands.
the big, shaking hands, but just driven and just always going for it, and never. You know, and then me, I'm just like, whatever, you know, light a fire. Usually, my problem is I only respond when I have a fire lit under me, as opposed to when it's like I've got some time, then I'm like, whatever, you know.
I would never know that about you because anytime you're shooting anything or anything, like I never have to.
Because that's when I'm in. You see me when I'm in the zone.
Yeah.
So you're seeing just that.
I only see you in the zone.
Right. So that's the context. But in like when
I see you down
during
in
the
some
week,
old Forester that you just opened.
Oh, hey,
now.
you know, I almost need another.
You know,
Shot
I am
as
still
well.
drinking.
Oh, you know, I've
by the
got-
way, for all of you 10 people that are listening to this,
That's good.
this is my first glass. I just
What?
watch it. I'm
You're
not judging.
kidding me.
I'm not judging.
No way.
you're
Yeah,
denying
way.
yourself Old
That's
Forester,
crap.
dude.
This is like my fourth, and this is why I don't drink whiskey. There you go. Oh, what are you going to mix? Oh, okay. Yeah,
No, it's
sure.
empty.
He
I
finished
drank
it.
I finished
Well,
it.
then have another drink.
I'm gonna.
Try the
won't come in.
fucking
Let me tell you something. If you guys don't call
There
Old
it is.
Forester for a sponsorship,
Shit.
86.
That's what we need. In 1986?
that's your sponsor right there.
They should be.
No, let's cheers this shit. Hey, let's Kansas City Nights this shit, guys. Come on.
Kansas City
Hey, here's to you. Keith.
Kansas City
We
Nights.
freaking
Cheers.
Love having
Old Forester
you on, man.
86.
Then I'll tell you something else.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Lang, what's up
Very
the
good.
pictures? This is a parking lot, you know.
Parking lot. Is that how they say it in Boston?
That is how they say it in Boston. Do you have a problem
It's not a
with
parking
that?
lot.
It is. What is it?
It's a parking lot.
Oh,
It's not a parking lot.
it's kind of close.
Yes.
You're
Right.
almost there, kid. You'll figure it out someday.
No, but
No.
seriously, like the way you the way you promote it, it's kind of reinforces what I kind of observed in. It's different because when when I would go shoot events for Spaces Magazine and then later in Kansas City that are somewhat semi-competitors in some
They're
level.
great magazines.
And
Yeah.
I've been involved with Spaces since 2005, and then that segued into in Kansas City.
Yep.
But I just observed the sort of the lifeblood of a business is networking and getting out there and rubbing
Oh, yeah.
elbows,
Right.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and that's what your events are designed
Oh, man.
for is to
Great. Good times.
they're designed to get people together, keep you front of center, front of mind. Because just as an example, I mean, part of my issue is that I'm not promoting all the stuff I do because I don't know if she told you this, but Denise, your what's her
She's
position?
like-
She is my right hand,
She's
left
amazing.
hand.
She
Yeah, she's
emailed
amazing.
she
Jeez.
emailed me a couple of days ago, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know if you do weddings or not, but we're just
Yeah.
trying to get some quotes." And I sent her my normal quote, and we talk, So they're trying to her and Rod are putting together a budget now that the gala's over and stuff,
Yeah.
and it's like, but the whole
For
thing,
their
do you even
daughter's
do
wedding.
do we even do wedding? I don't even know if you do weddings, but how much would you charge if you did? And da da da. And I'm
Did
like,
you give her love?
yes, I said I gave her
lot
my
of love.
quotes. I gave her my quote, and I was like, I said that I followed it up with, give me a number if it's not in your budget, and I'll see what I can do. Because that's
Did
but
she give it to you?
Not yet. I mean, they're still gonna
The budget
They need to
or the
figure out
love?
how much because her daughter, their daughter's
$10.
No.
their daughter,
Hey,
$50
you ain't
and a
getting
case
shit.
of beer.
Yep.
$50, and I promise
some
we'll
old
feed and
fucking
drink you.
forest.
And you're going to get so much
$50 and a
exposure.
bottle of Union Horse Distilling Reserve.
Oh,
Donated
don't
by
do it.
Keith
No.
Sauro.
Do you know?
Don't
Do you
do it.
do you know how many times? Yeah, don't dog my whiskey that costs more than your crap. I'm drinking yours. Mine's better, in my opinion.
That's great.
Anyway, but that kind of just like people. There's
is
so
good.
much about people don't know that I like. Some people only know me in one context of you only shoot live bands, and then they don't realize I shoot weddings, or they don't realize I do video, and so trying to get
you're a
that.
great event photographer.
Yeah,
I agree.
Everybody loves you.
Yeah, that's
They
like
cheer for
that's
you
like
now.
calling somebody the best white basketball player. But thank you.
Why?
Well, you probably are in the city of Manhattan, Kansas. The best white basketball player.
But anyway,
You guys are wrong.
We don't want. Let's steer this away from
Everything wrong.
Let's talk about your gala. The gala. I didn't go. Maybe next year.
Yeah. So last week,
I'll go to
I
that.
asked you.
no.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
So that's one of the crown. That's the crown jewel of your events, is that you have an awards gala that you put on that involves judge, like everybody in Kansas City putting in their
Entries. Yeah.
their entries for their designs, their
We had
home designs.
160 this time.
Their home designs, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and
Different
then you
kitchens, bath, all different categories.
and then you have judges from around the country that you connect with that volunteer their time to judge the houses, and then you announce and you hand out high quality award actual at the ceremony, and then you had Libby Langston or Langdon.
Libby Langdon, yep, she's an HGTV star and
she
designer out of New York.
Cool.
Out of New York, and she was the MC, and she flew out and MC'd the event.
She's great.
And so, just you're putting on these high quality events, black tie and ballroom gowns, and here I am in slacks and a button up shirt that's not even like
You're
with no
working,
time.
dog. I mean, you were working. Did you have a assistant with you?
Yeah, I had another photographer that
She's great, by the way.
who also specializes in event photography.
What's her name?
Allie Fleming.
There you go.
So when I have
she's cool,
events, I bring her in, and she comes and helps.
She's
us.
strong too. Like she knows how to take control of a situation, which is what's needed.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what to do.
I'm much more passive and go with the flow, but she takes charge and kind of puts me to shame in that regard, because I'm like, oh god, I'm so unprofessional. But she just locks it down. She locks it down.
Fantastic.
And here I am having a beer while she's saying, what's up?
You're easy to work with, man.
Cheers.
Or your 16th shot of Old Forester. But I'm not judging.
Old man.
Not judging.
They only had Maker's Mark at the thing last week, so I had, I think, a Maker's Mark, I believe.
Oh, that'll fuck you
What's
up.
wrong with Maker's Mark?
It's adequate.
With some Coke? Did you
I
mix
mean,
it in
it
with
was
some
open
Coke?
bar. You're lucky it wasn't Old
It
Crow.
was open. Yeah,
You're lucky it
bar.
wasn't
Gentlemen.
Southern. I'm lucky it wasn't Southern Comfort.
I like Southern Comfort.
little
Southern
wine.
Comfort Manhattans.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
Hey. A lot of
That's
sugar,
the only
though.
thing Southern
Lot of
Comfort is good
sugar.
for, by the way, not for zipping.
But no, the events you put on.
Bougie. We're
With
getting
the
bougie.
But the events that you put on, I mean, they serve a purpose, which is to
Connect.
and
Yeah.
further
Right.
the magazine.
No, further the community, which
Yeah.
hopefully furthers the magazine.
But you've got
Exactly.
you have a community. I mean, you got flooring. Design incorporates a lot, and there's a lot of people that are gathering in real estate as well. There's a lot of real estate people that go there, and your magazine is a damn nice magazine.
Yeah, but like the first awards gala that you did a year ago, you had it at a different venue, 300 people max. They all sold out, so you moved it downtown Kansas City.
Yep. The
expanded to 500, and it sold out.
Yep.
Dang,
So
you had
just-
500 people
so
there
500
for that shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's
Pretty
impressive.
cool. I mean, these people are so cool. The whole industry is amazing. And what I found was that all they were looking for was a reason to get together. You know what I mean?
And that's kind of what
And an open
So
bar.
people say, Keith, great job creating the community. I said, I didn't create the community. That community was here long before I was here.
You harnessed the
I
community.
didn't even harness it. All we did was give them a reason to get together.
And an open bar.
Open bar helps, but you know what? Everybody
And great
feeds and
catering.
drinks them.
And
Mashed
great
potato.
catering.
But everybody
mashed potato
bar.
Mashed
You
potato
like-
bars.
Man, you know what? So I did get. You know what? Let's talk about the mashed potato bar, shall we? When you came, so at our last event, we had a mashed potato bar. We do these big reveals
Beautiful.
where people
I love
see
it.
the magazine for the first time, and we had about 400 people at a fantastic flooring showroom, SVB Hardwood Floors, Grandview.
Yeah, it was
great
nice.
people.
Yeah.
You need hardwood floors, please call them.
Yes, yeah.
And they're awesome people, Italians too. God bless them.
Great showroom. They had a
Just
really
saying.
nice building showroom.
Amazing. They won an
Yeah.
award. They were the first
Oh,
award
well,
given
there
out
you
that,
go.
Oh, is this
that
the
show.
one in December that you're talking about?
No. Yeah, the party that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That you're at the last
So
time.
they won an award at the gala?
They did.
They
the very
should.
first one.
They should.
Yep. Designed by, anyway, another company. Anyway, Orion Design. But I'm slipping. You're making me slip into the other thing mode.
It's Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch all over again.
That's it. That's it. But no, the gala, yes, it was awesome and it was a lot of fun. and
But
I
that's
can't remember
I
what
mean,
it's
I feel like in its own way, it's only its second year, but it's evolving to me into the crown jewel of what you're doing.
It's a thing that people really coveted, and there was nothing like it. It's like there's lots of competitions, and there's, the whole magazine business in Kansas City is mostly, not the whole, but mostly, if you buy an ad, we'll make sure we write about you. So the money controls the content. And we made a hard, fast rule at the very beginning that all editorial would stand on its own merit and advertising would be advertising. And we hope that there's enough people that would. Mm-hmm. And, in the early conversations, like Andrea creates all the content. She picks all the projects. She presents it to me, but what am I going to say? Oh, I could do better. No, she's great. She's great. So it's like, no, we're doing that. So we would, she does all that. And I would have conversations with people that were writing about, hey, listen, we're doing this article. Can I share advertising? Yeah, sure. And I'd tell them, and then they couldn't afford it maybe, right? Or they didn't feel comfortable spending the money. And they would say, well, I guess there goes the feature. No, feature's happening. What are you talking about? I told you it's completely separate. Mm-hmm. Someday, maybe you'll decide. Every one of those people that when I first approached them, that I had those conversations with, are now customers. Every
customers as in they
advertisers.
They're advertisers.
Every single one of them. And devout, so that's what's crazy about it. Everybody gets their, our social media blew up. I literally had to shut off my notifications because in 3 days, it was like almost every 20 seconds, my phone was going off. I talked to my social media person tonight, Savannah Ricky. She's awesome. She said we had in basically 2.5 days, 1,500 posts or comments.
Yeah.
From the gala last week?
From the gala.
I need to hurry up and finish those photos so you can reignite it.
Oh, it's gonna totally reignite.
If we didn't have, here's the thing: if we didn't have the podcast scheduled tonight, I'd be done with them by now.
There you
so
go.
It's my fault.
Either I'll finish them tonight, but probably more like tomorrow. Tomorrow morning is more likely when I'll have them already.
It's what he does his best.
Our social media person's she's getting minor surgery done tomorrow, so she's not going to touch it. So
prayers for her.
Yep.
Hey, one success about all of this is you. You are a very accessible person. You are super nice. I see you most of the time. It's when you're playing with the Suburbans.
Yeah.
And I like to get there before the show because I want to say hi to all you guys. Because you and your fellow band members are fantastic.
They're awesome people.
Wonderful people.
Love them.
And I want to get there early and say something.
I don't think we explicitly said this, but your guitar player Antonio, we interviewed him back in November.
I know. So listen to it.
So just for the sake of people who may not be aware that the guys in the same band. So you're the first repeat band that we've had.
Yeah.
One thing that actually you and Antonio have said in your interviews was harmonies are the most important thing. If you don't have that, then you don't have a band. Remember when Antonio said that? And you basically said the same thing tonight. And so you're both right.
I mean, vocals. That. It's like it's all about the vocals.
Yeah.
The lead vocals. It's really all about that.
Yeah. But going back to your magazine, I mean, you're such a salesman, and you really, I don't know, you just do a great job of meeting people and talking to them.
I just like people. It's just something I like to do.
Very easy to talk to you as well.
Thanks, man. You too.
Whatever. Thank you.
You know that.
When he doesn't text me 2 hours from now saying, I don't think we could do the episode. We can't air it.
I'm too drunk on this.
We can't air it. I'm too drunk. We can't do it. Sorry.
That's too funny.
Where is it at?
I think it's cool what you guys are doing because the community has no voice. Like the music community, I know we got into my magazine world and all that stuff, but we probably shouldn't have. I mean, this is a music thing, right?
It is.
So it really is.
It's a Kansas City thing.
It's Kansas. Really. Well, it is a Kansas City thing. I guess you're right. So thank you for bringing it up then.
Hey, what part did you in your life? How long after you moved here you were like, you know what, Kansas City's fucking okay?
Not too long after because I kind of went to bed to gunshots sometimes.
In Boston?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
depending on what part of Kansas City you're in, that could still happen.
Of course it can.
Hey, no, we won't.
Yeah,
you're right.
No, it's true. I mean, it just is. It was a very different world. It really was. And But I wouldn't have changed a thing.
I remember when I went to Kansas, Boston.
Did you ever see the movie Mystic River?
I've heard of it, but I don't know.
Okay, yeah, okay, right.
Do you know
River?
Mystic River with Sean Penn, and you never saw it. It was shot in Boston. Anyway, the end scene, like that's shot literally on my street. Mystic River is the Mystic River Bridge in Boston.
Okay.
So, but the parade scene is literally shot on my street. The house that I lived in and grew up in is in it 20 times. I counted.
You mean it appears on screen 20 times?
20 times
that shit
in the movie. Sean Penn actually walks out of oh my gosh, what's his name? I can't remember. Paul Patori's house. That's his name. Paul Patori. He actually walks out of that house to the street for the parade in the movie. The end of it.
Neat.
So it's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, there you go.
No, hey, that's. Yeah,
but that movie was, it's inner city stuff. I mean,
well, I remember I went to Boston. It's going on 3 years now for a job, and I was at the North End hanging out. Text like, "Where's the best Italian place?" All of them are going to be fine because your favorite saying is like the best. I shouldn't quote that.
No,
I don't want to alienate particular.
You shouldn't.
Never mind. But you're saying
I will tell you the restaurants in Boston are amazing.
And it was. I think I picked. I gotta find which one. But
look at that.
But
no, go ahead. Do it.
Take your time. Let's hold this up for another 10 minutes. But I just remember. What you said, because I think I expressed something like I was sort of, I wasn't quite overwhelmed with Boston. I mean, I was like, oh my God, it's like Boston is the first quote unquote real big city I've been to. I mean, Kansas City,
it's a small big city.
When you talk about the big city, I'm talking on the level of New York, Chicago, Boston, LA. That level, not
New York.
I would say
New York dwarfs them all. You know?
I would say Kansas City and even St. Louis and even Tampa are probably like second tier. I mean, maybe you know what I mean.
Yeah,
as far so Boston was the first old school kind of. Let me rephrase it.
Yeah, a lot
first
of history.
Old school. City I'd been in, and I was like,
oldest man. There'd be no place else if it wasn't for Boston.
I was in the North End. I saw the Paul Revere house there, and anyway, I was there for 4 days, and I remember like by the second day, while I was enjoying it and loving the experience, I quickly realized I could never live there. And then I think I conveyed that to you.
I'm with you.
I conveyed that to you by text, and you're like, "Yeah, I could never move back there myself."
No way.
Yeah.
I would never. Just picture a short, fat Italian kid at about 13 years old,
with shiny shoes.
No shiny shoes. It's summer. It's summer.
Suit.
No suit. None of that.
Okay.
Out in front of Paul Revere's statue, selling slush.
Oh, slush. Okay.
So that's, you call it Italian ice. We call it slush.
Boston for
it's slush. No, it's not that. No, I'm a kid selling treats to tourists
all over. That's the Paul Revere statue.
That was it. I remember that. I know that.
Okay. All right.
I know that vision well. But seriously, that was my first job for Anthony's Slush in East Boston. So a 12-year-old kid, and by the way, my mother had a sense of humor because Keith. There's no translation for Keith in Italian. Did you know that?
No, yeah.
No.
So I have an Irish first name and I'm 100% Italian. So I got crap for that from all the old timers my whole life.
What are your brothers' names? Your other two brothers?
James and Charles.
Well, those are Catholic. So,
well, yeah, that too.
I mean, Irish Catholic.
That's where I ended up getting dinner that night when I was texting you.
Oh, yeah.
Cantina Italiana. It was excellent.
Oh,
yeah, it's a good
excellent.
place.
And I had my waiter was an actual Italian from Italy.
Oh, hey.
With a thick accent.
Wow.
Yes.
Imagine that. Did you know I'm an actual Italian from Italy? I mean, I didn't live in Italy, but I'm from Italy.
I've heard different.
All right. This thing is going south fast. We've already bored people for what? An hour and 72 minutes?
Listen.
I'm sorry. That's
worry.
2 hours and 12 minutes.
They will
listen. They will sit and listen and like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or else.
All 8 or 9 of them.
Or else I'll dance with them all night at a Suburban
if I had
show.
a button on that,
not
I would
the
hit it.
Suburbans, but
that's perfect.
Hey,
that's so perfect.
What's happening here? This personal attack on me.
It was a sidestep.
No, but we really appreciate you coming out tonight.
Yeah,
and
thank you,
finally making the time. You know, you're a busy guy
Right.
with your 10 magazines that you run and your
stuff.
band and
Good stuff. All of it. Really good stuff.
No, you guys are awesome.
I think we both enjoy.
You guys are fun, by the way. I've told
Your
you,
life.
I've listened to these and laughed out loud. The
Well,
problem
thank
is
you for
when I listen
listening.
to mine, I'm probably not going to laugh out loud.
No.
you're going to be texting us back like, okay, can you
Please
delete
don't
that
publish
part
that.
at 10
Yeah.
minutes?
I
Can you
really
delete? Now,
sound-
you didn't say anything that probably nobody's going to
Yeah, I don't think we really need to edit anything
Nah.
at this point.
Nah.
We're just going to put it out there.
So you
And they're just going to
10
deal.
minutes
And they're going to deal.
with video.
it is what it is.
So that's
It's all over. It's been a great career, Kansas City. Thank you so much. I appreciate
So
it.
that's his.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank
and with
you.
that,
Thank you, Keith.
we
We
want to thank
appreciate you
Keith
guys.
Sauro
Yeah.
of the Suburbans and Design
There you
KC
go.
Magazine for joining us.
Great guy.
I'm Brian
Yeah.
Rice,
I'm Shannon Gieber.
and this was the latest episode of Kansas City Nights. Take care. God bless.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.